congratulations, you're already almost there.
Welcome to Matt on Foil.
This is part 1 of 3 parts if you're getting into Parawinging. Now, it doesn't matter which one you take. There are cheaper options. There are some fairly priced and newer options, but there are the more expensive ones as well. And it really doesn't matter which one you have. As long as you have a Parawing, yes, you can start. And the first step is always take it out on the beach. Land drills. When it's windy and you're not planning on going on the water, maybe after a wing session, take out your Parawing. And it's super important that you just fly your Parawing on land because you can really feel where the power zones are. Now, if you hold the Parawing on the front of the bar and just in the front of the bar, then you don't have a lot of tension in the Parawing, meaning that you can release power, depower, and the newer Parawings, they still stay stable. The older ones actually can collapse. So there already you can see some differences. But if you hold it all the way to the front of the bar, then you don't have a lot of tension, which is good because you don't have power, but you can also not steer it very well because you steer it on the back of the Parawing, and if you don't have tension on these lines, you cannot steer it. If you take the second hand and hold it in the middle or the back of that bar and you pull a little on it, then you start to break the Parawing. You immediately feel that you have more power in that Parawing, and the Parawing moves more down. It moves deeper in the wind window, generates more power, but less speed. And you can really feel the difference if you move your hand or if you kind of sheet in on that bar. So that's super important to feel how the Parawing reacts. You want to fly them on both sides, both hands. And what's also super important, you don't want to just hold it and stand there. You want to move. And that's where number 2 actually comes in. If you have the possibility, get your Parawing on a skateboard. Now, if you're not a skater, that's no problem. Yes, of course, wear a helmet. You don't have to be super fast, but if you fly the Parawing and you move, then it simulates you being on the water. If you move, the Parawing has different characteristics than when you stand still. So you always want to move a bit. Just be aware that braking on a skateboard is not as easy as on the water because the water breaks you immediately. And on the skateboard, you keep on rolling, but I think it's a super good training on land. And it's also very fun. Maybe if you go skating, just put a Parawing in the back and wing around. That's really super fun. Now let's talk about safety. And I've made a whole video about safety. I think it's somewhere up here. And you can see next to the helmet, it's always good to have a second Parawing in case you lose it. We have to talk about leashes on the board. You can easily body drag on a wind wing, but on a Parawing, if it's in the water, you cannot really body drag. So a leash on your board is super nice. I'm going to talk about leashes in my next video, so make sure to follow along the journey and subscribe to the channel. One thing that is important, especially when learning, but also later on, is a hook knife. And you want a hook knife because these lines, they are super strong. If you get tangled and a wave pulls you down, or you get tangled around your head, that could be the end of it. So always have a hook knife ready, and also have it somewhere where you know where it is. You don't have time to look for your hook knife. You need to have that movement implemented. It needs to be in your muscle memory, just so in case shit goes down, you can take out your hook knife and just cut through the lines. Now the question is, which Parawing should you take? There are so many of them. I had the chance to test over 20 Parawings so far, and I've written everything down in that table. If you want that, get that table, check out @MattOnFoil on Instagram, send me a direct message and I'll share with you that table. Took me forever to make, but you know, I think it could really help. Now that was all just theory. Of course you want to get on the water. And in the next video, I'm going to talk to you what steps you need to take when going on the water, how to actually get up, get on foil, and what you have to be aware of to not have a bad first session. So follow along and let's see you in the next video.